In today's CarX Drift Racing Online 2 video, we're going to be cooking up the S15. This is one of my best cars from the playtest, and we had to retune it again. You guys absolutely loved this last time, so if you guys want more builds on awesome cars like this, be sure to leave a like, and without further ado, let's get some doors and then dive into the build. Alrighty boys, welcome back to DRO2. I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of that gameplay. We were getting absolute doors the other night with people using the unreleased cars that creators only got early access to because guess what? They're not unreleased. Okay. All jokes aside, the Chaser, for example, the S13, I saw multiple people with them last night, including the 180SX, so they are in the rotation. They are just very rare. I agree with you guys. The car market has an issue right now. It also should be 30 minutes, as we said in our last video. And the suspension tuning, even though I personally really genuinely do think the game doesn't really feel much different on controller, specifically on wheel, can't speak to that. I've heard it's not that great, but on controller, I still love it. I think it's a ton of fun. There are for sure some issues. The suspension upgrade or overhaul definitely wasn't done, and this build overall is a slight step back, but I have faith they're gonna fix it. There are some really cool extra telemetry we have, and this build does run really well. So if you're struggling to get a setup with values not working, for example, like rear camber is not adjusting with compression, etc., this build still feels awesome. It actually three wheels now. I'm three wheeling a lot more than I was in the playtest, so I guess that's a positive personally. So it's a little bit more attitude out of the car, and this build feels really good, man. I really like it. You guys loved my S15 build from the playtest, so I hope this one suits you well as well, and you guys are able to have more fun using this car. So let's take a look at this. We got the SR20 in here, or the RS20 in game. You guys can take a look at all these, numbers here. I don't really like to individualize and go through these and kind of drag out this process when you guys can pause, screenshot, and kind of move along the process rather quickly yourself. So here we did max everything out. The only thing I want to explain is the camshaft. The reason I went with the stage 4 is because because going stage 5 will lower the low end torque. I just wanted around like 500 in this thing, kind of aggressive style, Mahon-ish style build. It's really fun around Ebisu, throws crazy backies, good on assist and no assist. Obviously, I really only drive no assist, but this thing is butter on assist as well. Electronics are going to be maxed out there. Gearbox, we're going with the Supersonic V2. You guys can go with the Get Rag. I just like being able to mess with some more gears and stuff like that. This just came with this. I didn't put this in here, to be fair. I purchased specifically the yellow S15 that we purchased from the playtest. So it's going to be the developer tuned yellow S15. It's going to have the Rocket Bunny front bumper and the stock fenders, but it is tuned. It also, I believe, comes with a 2J in it. I could be wrong about that, but anyway, let's get back into the parts here. So we also have a 2M 4.1. It is a clutch diff. This doesn't really matter. I haven't really felt a difference between the clutch, the viscous, and the welded. Obviously, I try and max them all out anyway. So personally, you guys can go with whatever there. You can even go with a Summers V3. Stage 4 dampers, didn't even touch those compared to the tune. Really left it stock from the developer tune that came on this yellow S15 originally. You guys can copy all these here. 3553. And then for the tires, I've been really loving sport tires. Me and the guys on stream and in Yanaka faction been loving the sport tires. I love the extra grip. It's just personally how I prefer to drive. The softs are good as well. You can get those pretty gripped up, but I think the sports might genuinely be better than even the semi-slicks just because of how long they maintain grip. And there's only like a 5% increase between sport and semi-slick. I feel like the biggest jump is the 10% you get going from soft to sports. So sports might be the vibe, it might be the play, it might play out a little bit interesting in comps to see with that super high horsepower number how quick people run out of racing tires, for example, and maybe have an edge being on a little bit lower horsepower on sports or something. So wheel speed will burn those racing tires out really fast, especially in comp. Let's take a look at the tuning here. You guys can feel free to pause, screenshot all these values over here. The only time we're going to turn the wheels and look at things is for Ackerman on the suspension geometry. All right, so there's the dampers right there. I haven't really messed with these that much, didn't really need to. The developer tune already kind of dialed in the springs and the dampers. The only thing I really adjusted was the suspension geometry here, as you guys can see. And then when we turn our wheels, I'm almost certain we get close to 68 to 69 degrees of steering angle on that lead. Okay, 68 degrees of steering angle pretty much on that lead wheel. I have about 10 positive Ackerman on this build. It's pretty aggressive, but it is very good. I suggest you guys try it out. If you don't like it, by all means, probably decrease the steering arm offset to be able to get those numbers a little bit closer together. Maybe +6, +5 Ackerman might feel good to you. Personally, this is just what I prefer to run. And for that rear wheel toe, giving us a lot of forward bite, we have a lot more adjustability with this now. I hope they maintain some aspects of this suspension overhaul, obviously, with the increased value adjustments and things like that. If they do end up reverting or going back to the playtest suspension overhaul, the physics have not really changed, guys. It's just the suspension overhaul isn't working properly at the moment via our testing that we've done. Me and Extra he basically tested everything to make as much movement in the rear of the car as possible, and it seems the camber is just not making any changes at all, with the maximum gain being about 0.1 to 0.15 maybe max gain or loss of camber. All right, so tires here, as you guys can see, we're running 245s in the front with 35 sidewall or profile on front and rear. That is to meet competition spec. I also use this in the Pro-Am stuff or whatever that other, top 32 is. It's a lot of fun. 265s on the rear. Tire pressure is a little bit lower, running 18s all around. You guys see those values there. Apparently, we're still testing with this, but apparently the smaller the tire apparently is actually, for some reason, working like a little bit grippier. I don't know. You guys might have to test that out. My boy Jay said he's been running like 215s to 225s, and for some reason it's just grippier. So, I mean, who knows? Weirder stuff's happened in CarX, for example, tractor tunes on CarX Street. But anyway, taking a look at this here, 1.35 bar, running right around 500 horsepower. Feels really good. We do actually take use of the anti-lag here. Absolutely love that. You guys see the adjustable gears. That's why I love this transmission. We got 95/84 on the diff lock. Again, that's what the developers had this set at, and it feels very good. Would highly suggest trying it out. And then here for the brakes, I just did 75 brake balance. I like my brake force a little bit higher because I'm very careful with my brake inputs. If you're somebody that doesn't really know how to modulate the brake as clean, I guess you could say, you could lower this to about 4K Newton meters, and that'll feel pretty good consistently, man. And that's been the build. Hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay, enjoyed the build. This is my S15. I'm going to be constantly like doing small tweaks, but this is a good base to adjust to your style, and this will be my main competition car come when they have more events, and maybe mess with the async or top 32s overall. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next video. We will be doing a Laurel build because that's one of the first cars you guys got, and honestly it feels really, really good. We also have a crazy S13 build. We might actually do that next because that thing is insane. I love the S13. It's actually made after a car that I saw in Jimmy Oak's video, and then I looked up clips of it. Apparently the guy that owns this car absolutely kills it at Mahon as well. So definitely gonna have to dive into the build on this thing because this thing is a beast. I will say be mindful when you guys are building cars of the weight distribution. It helps a lot with the feel. As you can see right here, when you look at the info, it says 5248. That's my preferred weight balance. Otherwise you might have to mess with the dampening so it compresses and feels a little bit grippier. Otherwise you're just gonna get left in the dust. 5248 is my perfect balance. You guys can see everything here as far as all the tuning if you guys missed anything on that. But without further ado, man, it's been your boy MxgicIQ. More tunes, more cool fun stuff coming soon, and hopefully a guide when we have tuning set in stone. I don't really want to release a guide and then they change something, so please just be patient on that. We're going to wait for the developers to lock stuff in. This tune though, overall is pretty much straightforward how you would tune this car in pretty much almost any game, so as far as CarX goes, but obviously a little bit more aggressive in this one. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I'm out. Peace.